Hello everyone, welcome back to another video here on the channel, Charles Morris. And in this video, uh, pretty much going to be going over information from the misinformation floating around social media, such as Facebook, Twitter, and not only Facebook and Twitter, but, also TikTok. Because this is a pretty serious issue that I think a lot of people don't really want to be dealing with or seeing this on social media because, social media is there for you to actually enjoy using. But what a lot of people do not like seeing is a bunch of misinformation that is spread around these platforms like Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok. Now, if you actually have watched some of the shorts on TikTok, well, there's a lot of political misinformation that floats around on that platform, and and the only solution that, you know, TikTok is a company, I believe, is controlled by the Chinese. Now, if China, it had made a TikTok so that they could actually try to actually spy on everybody else in the world, then basically, if you get TikTok, then pretty much you're into pretty much of a trap. I think China's using TikTok to actually monitor how people react to a lot of situations out there in the whole entire world, such as like people can find out what goes on in the U.S. and U.S. politics, and a lot of other stuff. Basically, there are some guidelines on TikTok that you have to follow, or unless you get or unless you get an account ban. And I've noticed that there are people who, once their accounts get banned by TikTok themselves, once their account's banned, they recreate a new account, and when they use the new account and their account gets banned because they didn't follow the guidelines or community guidelines that TikTok has put on the platform, then basically that account gets banned. And I think it's a certain amount of videos that TikTok has to actually pin before the account actually gets banned. Now, there's a lot of things that TikTok just pins videos for. Basically, misinformation is one of them. Being cruel toward others, and, there's a lot of stuff that, there's a lot of community guidelines that, you have to follow on TikTok. And, a lot of rules that you have to follow, and I think, it's, I think it may have something to do with China. I think it may have something to do with, um, now, I'm not sure if this is actually true or not, but I think that maybe, the Chinese that made TikTok, want you to actually be, perfect in trying to use the platform, which, nobody in this world is perfect, really. Um, people are going to do a lot of bad stuff on TikTok and, basically get their accounts banned and, you know, there's a lot of stuff that goes on TikTok, but that I'm not even going to get into any detail of it, but, you know, um, political misinformation is, one of them. Now, basically, talking about this on YouTube, basically, um, pretty safe. I mean, there are, videos, and I admit, even I do it myself sometimes. Sometimes I'll say something that may sound misinforming to people, and I apologize for that. I mean, misinformation is, absolutely one of the, most terrible things that I hate to keep saying or even, hear. But, let's go to another situation. Since, Elon Musk has been the owner of Twitter, and he has been, and now he's had a big, he's had an announcement that he's stepping down as CEO of Twitter. And during the time that he'd been CEO of Twitter, people would pretty much be able to, say whatever the heck they wanted. Using the N word with one of them. People were afraid to be racist on Twitter. And, Elon Musk has been, trying to get involved in, U.S. politics and, all this other stuff that's been going on. And, during the time he's been CEO of Twitter, he's been firing the Twitter staff, and, Twitter's been going downhill. I've talked about this before. And this is one of the big things I wanted to be discussing, because social media, as you know, there is a bunch of misinformation that goes on, and Twitter is, one of them. Now, during the time Jack Dorsey was CEO of Twitter, he was the former CEO before Elon Musk. He, took misinformation, content down on Twitter, or, there was, something called the bird watching feature, and that was, you would get, checked. There would be a, fact checking on a person's tweet that sounded like it was completely false when it came to, if, somebody made a tweet that sounded like it was a bunch of misinformation about, whether it would be the 2020 election was stolen. Uh, and you would be getting like a fact check on that tweet, and that would be proven to be pretty false because, as you know, the 2020 election was never stolen, and there was human error in Dominion voting machines. And yeah, I could see where people would get the idea that voter fraud is real, but people went back and corrected the problem. See, they knew people were messing with Dominion voting machines. And, look what happened. They fixed the problem. Now, I've heard about this on Frontline documentaries, and, I've looked at this, and, voter fraud was pretty, it was a big deal, and people wanted to correct the problem, and, whoever got into the Dominion voting machines to try to actually mess around with the machines got in trouble for it, and the people who were in charge of Dominion voting machines corrected the problem. And now our elections are back to being fair and square. This is what the 2020 election was meant to be. It was supposed to be done fair and square, and indeed it was done fair and square. But there are still election deniers out there, and now we're in the year of 2023, and so far there are still election deniers out there that pretty much believe that the 2020 election was stolen. And we're in the month of January right now, and now coming up is going to be the second year of the January 6th insurrection. Today is close to that date. Today is close to January 6th. And you'll be hearing a lot more about the January 6th insurrection. And there will be more details on who was involved with it. And, we all know that the former 45th President of the United States has incited this insurrection on January 6th, 2021. And there will be more details as January 6th comes along. But, yeah. Not only does misinformation flow around Twitter, but it also floats around on Facebook too. And one of the simple things that people could actually do to actually take care of this problem, if there's ever anybody that actually wanted to, this would be the only way to solve problems with misinformation spreading around on TikTok, Twitter, and Facebook. And now, this was on the news. And this has happened before with Twitter, Facebook, and Google also. And they have been, they have had lawsuits filed against them. And that is one of the That is one of the things that people could actually do. And file lawsuits against the company for just allowing this kind of stuff to happen. I mean, misinformation is so sick. And the more and more that misinformation gets spread around like Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok, the more that there are going to be lawsuits filed against them. And anyone wanting to file lawsuits against these companies, pretty much, if Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok, if those CEOs, whatever, staff, if they are ordered by a judge, by law, they would have to at least kill every sort of misinformation post, or else, if they didn't obey what the law said about, getting rid of the misinformation posts and, fact checking these accounts, if they didn't obey what a judge said or ruled that TikTok, Facebook, and Twitter, if they didn't, by law, ban people's accounts that were behind the misinformation spreads and that stuff, then they would have to pay like a lot of money. And maybe this is just exaggerating on my part, but it might be true. They may have to go out of business and not exist as a company on smartphones anymore and that stuff. And now that's also sad, because you know how many people use Facebook and Twitter to communicate with faraway loved ones and that stuff? You just wouldn't be able to do that anymore. And the one thing that you could only do is pretty much call them up and, get their phone numbers and, be able to chat with them on the phone. That would be like the only way. Now maybe you'd be able to use Google Hangouts and stuff like that. Google Hangouts isn't really a misinformation kind of app, but it would probably have to be some other source that you could use to chat with your faraway loved ones and that stuff. Facebook and Twitter and TikTok probably might not be around in the future. If they were ordered to stop the misinformation spread on their platforms, they may have to go out of business if they didn't follow what the law said in the future about misinformation. What a judge, or if a judge ruled that both Facebook, Twitter, and even TikTok, if they didn't do anything about the misinformation that was being spread around their platforms and did something to ban the account that was behind all the misinformation spreads and that stuff, then obviously they would eventually have to pay a big amount of money, and they may even have to go out of business. And, you You never know. But, let's face it. Eventually, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok are eventually going to go downhill. Now, I've talked about, in many of my videos, I've talked about Twitter going downhill because Elon Musk was the CEO at the time. Now, Elon Musk is stepping down of being CEO of Twitter, and who would be the next CEO of Twitter? I do not know. But hopefully it wouldn't be the same kind of person that would have the give people on Twitter the freedom of speech, especially being racial on Twitter. That's the one thing that's got to stop. That people don't like racism on social media. And you're allowed to make death threats on Twitter and, all this stuff. It's just all free speech, and you be absolutely cruel on your tweets. And this is the stuff that just bugs me so much. Now, for TikTok, China may have to end up being responsible for, all the misinformation that is spread around TikTok. And, a simple lawsuit against these companies is going to get them to actually, by law, actually follow what the law says. And if they don't want to follow what the law says about misinformation spreads, and if they don't want to do anything about misinformation on their platform, then what could end up happening is they could end up going out of business, and that's where the misinformation problem would be solved by lawsuits. And these companies, if they didn't comply with it, if Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok didn't want to do anything about misinformation spreads, if a judge ruled that TikTok, Facebook, and Twitter had to do something about misinformation spreads by law, if they didn't do anything when a judge ruled about stopping the misinformation spread and banning those accounts behind the misinformation spreads, then they'd have to pay a huge amount of money, and eventually they'd have to go bankrupt. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like what was said here, please comment, like, and subscribe to the channel, Charles Morris. And I'll see you in my next video. And, misinformation spreads on social media and TikTok, or social media such as Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok, is eventually going to be stopped by law. And lawsuits probably be the only thing that would get these companies to actually listen to what the people actually don't want about misinformation. Or, let me repeat that. Lawsuits are going to be the only thing that will get Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok's attention about misinformation. And this might solve the problems with social media. This is Charles Morris. Have a good day. I will see you all in my next video.